All right, so the first thing you should notice is that on each line, there are 3 parts to it. There's parentheses for coordinate points. There's a dash without a degree symbol. That's going to be your radian. And then there's a dash with your degree symbol. I'm going to start with those. We're going to fill in all the degree symbol. So we already talked about what would be at your quadrant angles, right? We said this would be 0. At the top would be what? At the top would be what degree? 90. On the left, 180. On the bottom, 270. And all the way back around underneath the line, 360. Now the pattern for your angles are 30, 15, 15, 30, all the way around. So I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to add 30. I get to 30. I'm going to add 15. I get to 45. I'm going to add 15. I get to 60. I'm going to add 30. And there's my checkpoint because I already filled it in. That's your 90. Then you're going to do it again. Add 30 to 90. You get 120. Add 15. I get 135. Add 15. I get 150. Add 30. I get 180. I'm going to do it again. 30, 15, 15, 30. Add 30, I get 210. Add 15, 225. Add 15, 240. Add 30, 270. And you're going to do it one more time. 30, 15, 15, 30. Add 30, 300. Add 15, 315. Add 15, 330. Add 30, 360. That's literally 1/3 of it. Do your quadrants, 30, 15, 15, 30. Fill in the rest. Now I'm going to go to radians, and I'm not going to convert these all. I'm going to remember a pattern. On your axes, we did this already. On the right, we said this would be 0. At the top, it would be 1/2 pi, which is pi over 2. On the left would be pi. On the bottom, 1 and 1/2 pi, so 3 pi over 2. And on the right-hand side, next to 360, would be 2 pi. Everybody with me so far? Max, you doing it? Okay. All right, now, all the angles that are closest to your x-axis are going to be over 6. So I'm going to just do the denominators first. Over 6, over 6, over 6, over 6. All the angles closest to your x-axis are over 6. All the angles closest to your y-axis are over 3. So over 3, over 3, over 3, over 3. And the middles are over 4. Over 4, over 4, over 4, over 4. So it's 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1. 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6, back to 2 pi. In the first quadrant, they all just get pi. This would be pi over 6. This would be pi over 4. This would be pi over 3. And that converts to 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. In the second quadrant, they are all 1 less than your denominator. So it would be 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, and 5 pi over 6. The numerator is 1 less than the denominator because we're not to 1 yet. We're in between the half and 1. The third quadrant is 1 more than the denominator. So it's 7 pi over 6, 5 pi over 4, 4 pi over 3. And in the fourth quadrant, it is 1 less than double. Or remember the pattern 5, 7, 11. 5 pi over 3, 7 pi over 4, 11 pi over 6. You with me so far? Okay, now we're going to fill in our coordinate points. So this is a unit circle that is formed because our radius is 1, which means I went to the right 1. This coordinate point on the right would be 1, 0. I went up 1. The coordinate point at the top would be 0, 1. I went left 1, so it would be negative 1, 0. And down 1, 0, negative 1. And now perhaps the most important thing you need to remember is what I'm about to teach you next, because we are going to use it when we do unit circle angles in 4-2. We're going to use it when we solve in 4-3. We use this again in May when we do polar. Like, this is something that doesn't go away, okay? And that is to learn that every over 6, so every over 6 in my whole unit circle has the coordinate point root 3 over 2 and 1/2. We're going to fill in the signs on it later. But if the denominator, after it's simplified, if the denominator is over 6, it has that coordinate point. Every over 4 has the coordinate point root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. And every over 3 has the coordinate point 1/2 and root 3 over 2, which is the reverse of your over 6. Yep, so now fill them all in. Every over 6 gets root 3 over 2. Root 3 over 2, 1/2. Root 3 over 2, 1/2. Root 3 over 2, 1/2. And root 3 over 2, 1/2. Every over 3 gets the reverse of that. Every over 3 gets 1/2 root 3 over 2. 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 And every over 4 gets root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. Now let's talk about the signs in these quadrants. In your first quadrant, what's true about x and y's positive or negative signs? What's the sign of the x's in the first quadrant? Positive. What's the sign of the y's in the first quadrant? Positive. So these are all positive. I'm going to leave them alone. They're all positive. In the second quadrant, what's true? X is negative and y is positive. So all these x's get a negative. In the third quadrant, what's true? They're both negative. So I get a negative and 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 a negative. And in the fourth quadrant, what's true? Good. Y is negative, x is positive. So the x stays positive and the y's become negative. Questions so far? So again, there's like, if you go on YouTube, there's like other tricks, like people do things with their knuckles. They do weird things, okay? You could learn this any way you want to. We will do it. I'm going to give you a blank one tomorrow, like a blank piece of paper. We're going to fill it again tomorrow. But I promise you, it is like one of the most applicable things that we are going, it's like becomes factoring. Like it gets built into so many things the rest of the year. It's so important that you know them, okay? And probably, in my opinion, we're going to add to this tangents, but this, understanding that, will make it so much easier moving forward. If you can just memorize the over 6, the over 4, the over 3. And again, I'm going to add in tangents when we get to it. But for now, this is where we're at. And for now, this is what you will need to fill in on your unit circle quiz on Thursday, okay? Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what we use this for, which there is stuff to use it for. It's not just about memorization, but this is the foundation of it.
Is it just like filling in this, or are there questions?
There will be questions too. Yeah, I don't know if you heard her, but there will also be questions. This won't be your whole quiz. Some of it will literally use this, though. I might say, what's the coordinate point at this angle? And you give it to me. What's the sine and cosine and tangent at that angle is what we're going to build on it.